Most of your time at theme parks you spend waiting. Of course, as no one likes to wait, theme parks encounter a problem. Who in their right mind waits an hour for 2 minutes of thrill and adrenaline? Join me as we uncover the psychological tricks theme parks employ to make the waiting time seem far less than it really is, and why we fall for it again and again. Waiting in line is a universal frustration, but how we feel about waiting often matters more than how long we actually wait. You see, the science of queues is a rabbit hole, and queuing theory is actually its own academic field. Professor David Maister, in his classic 1985 paper, The Psychology of Waiting Lines, outlined key principles still used today. One of them: occupied time feels shorter than unoccupied time. In other words, distraction is key. Studies show that a distraction can shorten subjective waiting time up to a third. And this starts with the simplest of tricks. Most queues have music playing, ideally matched to the theming of the ride. This music doesn't just set the vibe, it manipulates our sense of pacing. Numerous studies have shown that music makes time spent waiting seem less. This is why there is always music in almost every phone hole we spend waiting. Although we can certainly agree that listening to music over the phone sounds shit. Now, back to theme parks. Of course, the theming itself draws us into its own world. Big parks put heavy emphasis on theming, adding many details for the guests to discover in the waiting area. Animatronics or videos on screens may tell us the storyline of the attraction. And even smells create sensory novelty that occupies our attention. Some parks even take it a step further, like the queue for the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Disney's Magic Kingdom in Florida, which featured interactive activities like a gem sorting game. These distractions tap into what psychologists call stimulus complexity, which leads to subjective time compression. The more immersive the environment, the more our brain focuses on the story rather than the wait. But it's not just about what we see. It's also about what we don't see. Ever notice how many lines wind through the dark? That's not just mood setting. Darkness reduces external time cues, making it harder for our brain to track how long you've been waiting. If we saw the full length of the queue at once, we might bail. So designers use visual occlusion, hiding sections behind corners, walls, or themed dividers to keep our hopes alive. Additionally, segmenting the queue creates a sense of progress. For example, the first spot of the queue being outdoor, followed by an indoor segment, or different rooms we pass through. This way, we're always put into a new environment, kickstarting our attention again and giving us a feeling of completion. Another psychological trick theme parks utilize is the peak end effect, mostly described by psychologist Daniel Kahneman. It describes that from a certain experience, we mostly remember emotional highlights, aka the peak, and the ending. So theme parks focus their efforts on the end of the queue line. We encounter more theming, or the roller coaster we're waiting for passed by. Often parks add elaborate pre-shows to the end of the wait, which themselves act as mini-rides. Theme parks also play with expectations. Many rides slightly overestimate the wait time on purpose, so when we get through faster, it feels like a win. This also serves to make the opposite case less likely, of course, as waiting longer than we initially expected to wait can leave a very negative impression. From lighting and music to hidden architecture and distractions, every detail is a part of a calculated psychological experience. Because in the world of theme parks, waiting isn't just wasted time. It's another trick to keep the magic alive.